In the heart of a quaint town, where cobblestone streets whispered stories of yore, stood an unassuming atelier, veiled in the hues of twilight. Its walls, bathed in the gentle glow of the setting sun, harbored a world uncharted by any but one. Lysandra, with her brush as her compass, voyaged into realms unseen and unfelt, save for in the depths of dreams and whispers of the wind. Her atelier, a sanctum of silence and color, was her haven from the humdrum of the world outside. Canvases, like silent sentinels, lined the walls, each a window to a universe born from the depths of Lysandra's imagination. The air was thick with the scent of oil paints and turpentine, a fragrance that sang of creation and the unending dance of colors. In the center of this sanctuary, under the caress of a lone skylight that captured the moon's silver embrace, stood Lysandra. Her eyes, mirrors of the sky at dusk, flickered with flecks of 1,000 hues, reflecting the tapestry of her soul. Her hands, coated in streaks of azure and crimson, moved with a rhythm, guided by a melody heard only by her and the canvas that eagerly drank every color she offered. Today, her brush danced to the tune of a realm that had been whispering its existence in the back of her mind, a place of such beauty it ached. A landscape where emerald grasses swayed under a sky painted with the twilight's deepest purples and the morning's softest golds. Mountains rose like sleeping giants, their peaks crowned with eternal snow that shimmered under the caress of the twin suns. But as her brush wove this world into being, a shadow flickered at the edge of her vision. A darkness, subtle yet insistent, seeping into the canvas like a stain. Lysandra's heart faltered, her rhythm broken. She stepped back, eyes narrowed in confusion and a dawning apprehension. The realm on the canvas pulsed, alive and breathing, but in its heart, nestled amidst its beauty, lay a darkness that should not have been. A darkness that had no place in the world Lysandra sought to create. Yet, there it was, a blemish upon her creation, whispering of things best left hidden in the folds of night. As the eerie stillness of the atelier enveloped her, Lysandra's heart echoed with a rhythm untamed, a symphony of disquiet and wonder. The darkness on the canvas, like a blot of ink in clear water, spread its tendrils slowly, purposefully. It seemed to pulse, a heartbeat synchronized with her own, drawing her in with an unsettling allure. Lysandra's fingers hovered over the palette, trembling slightly. The colors, once vibrant and alive, now seemed distant, overshadowed by the growing void on her canvas. The air grew heavier, as if the darkness was seeping out, tainting the very atmosphere of the atelier. Shadows clung tighter in the corners, and the once comforting silence took on a weight that pressed against her ears. With a hesitant step, she approached the painting again, her eyes tracing the serpentine swirls of the dark force. It was as if the realm she had envisioned was fighting back, trying to keep the darkness at bay, but losing ground with every passing moment. The emerald grasses wilted, the twin suns dimmed, and the mountain peaks shuddered under a foreboding sky. Lysandra's mind raced, her thoughts a whirlwind of fear and fascination. How had this darkness found its way into her creation? Was it a reflection of something within her, a hidden fragment of her soul she had unknowingly bared onto the canvas? Or was it something else, something far more sinister, an entity that had chosen her painting as its vessel? Her gaze was drawn inexorably to the heart of the darkness, where faint, ghostly shapes seemed to stir, whispers of forms and faces. A chill ran down her spine as she realized that the shapes were familiar, echoes of her past, of memories she had locked away deep within her. The realization struck her with the force of a thunderclap, and for a moment, she staggered, gripping the edge of her easel for support. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in as the painting seemed to expand, its presence overwhelming. Lysandra knew she stood at a precipice, facing a choice that could unravel her world or seal it away forever. The darkness called to her, a siren song of forgotten dreams and unspoken fears, tempting her to delve into its depths. The night had crept into the atelier, the moon casting a spectral glow that seemed to dance with the shadows. Lysandra stood motionless, her eyes locked with the abyss that now dominated her once tranquil painting. The air was thick with a silent tension, as if the room itself was holding its breath, waiting for her decision. Within her, a storm raged. Memories long buried churned to the surface, each a fragment of her own history entwined with the dark whispers emanating from the canvas. These were not mere figments of imagination, they were shards of her very being, parts of her soul she had concealed, now manifesting in her art. A sudden, sharp noise broke the trance. A paintbrush, previously perched delicately on the edge of a jar, clattered to the floor. The sound, trivial yet jarring, was like a crack in a dam. Emotion flooded through Lysandra, a mixture of fear, resolve, and an unspoken longing to confront whatever lay within that darkness. Her hand reached out, trembling, not to paint but to touch the canvas. As her fingers brushed the surface, a shiver ran through her, a connection that transcended the physical. It was as if the painting itself was alive, its pulse beating against her skin. In that touch, Lysandra felt a pull, a gentle yet insistent tug, drawing her closer to the realm she had created. The darkness was no longer just a part of the painting, it was a gateway, an invitation to a journey that promised answers and, perhaps, a confrontation with her own hidden fears. The atelier, once a sanctuary of solitude, now felt like a cocoon that she had outgrown. The realization dawned upon her that this was no ordinary painting, and she was no ordinary artist. This was her calling, a path that she alone could tread, a journey into a realm born from the deepest corners of her soul. With a deep, steadying breath, Lysandra made her choice. She would step into the painting, into the realm she had created, and face the darkness. It was a journey of both discovery and challenge, one that would test the very fabric of her being. The room seemed to acknowledge her decision, the shadows receding slightly, as if in respect. Lysandra gathered her courage, her resolve solidifying into a force that would carry her through whatever lay ahead. She stepped closer to the canvas, ready to cross the threshold into a world of her own making, a world where the line between reality and imagination blurred into oblivion. As Lysandra's hand pressed against the canvas, a sensation like cool water enveloped her, sending ripples across her skin. The boundary between her world and the one she had painted blurred, the colors swirling around her, drawing her in. She closed her eyes, a leap of faith into the unknown, and when she opened them, the atelier was gone. She stood in the heart of her creation, the realm she had painted now a tangible reality around her. The air was alive with the scent of pine and distant oceans, a symphony of nature that was both foreign and intimately familiar. The emerald grass under her feet was soft, yielding, each blade shimmering with dew that reflected the twin suns hanging low in the sky. The beauty of the realm was overwhelming, yet beneath its serene surface, attention hummed. The sky, a canvas itself of purples and golds, bore streaks of darker hues, as if the night was trying to claw its way through the day. The mountains in the distance stood tall and ominous, their peaks lost in a swirl of dark clouds. As Lysandra ventured deeper into the realm, the sense of unease grew. The darkness she had seen in her painting was more pervasive here, a creeping shadow that seemed to watch her from every corner. The air grew colder, the vibrant colors of the landscape dimming, as if drained of life. Suddenly, from the thicket beside her, a figure emerged. It was ethereal, its form shimmering like a mirage. The figure was both strange and familiar, a creation of her own mind yet independent, with its own will. It was a guardian of the realm, born from the same stroke of the brush that had birthed the darkness. The guardian spoke, its voice a melody that resonated with Lysandra's soul. It warned her of the dangers ahead, of the darkness that was not just a part of the realm but a part of her. To confront it, she must journey to the heart of the mountains, where the fabric of this world was thinnest, and the darkness had its roots. With a newfound resolve, Lysandra followed the path laid out before her. The landscape changed as she moved, from lush meadows to rocky terrain, each step taking her closer to the mountains and the heart of the darkness. The journey would not be easy, but she was determined to face whatever lay ahead, to confront the darkness and reclaim the realm she had created. Lysandra trekked onward, her resolve a steady flame burning within. The guardian, a wisp of light and shadow, floated beside her, its presence both comforting and enigmatic. It spoke in riddles and poetry, offering guidance laced with deeper meanings that Lysandra pondered with each step. The terrain grew harsher, the beauty of the realm giving way to a landscape scarred by the encroaching darkness. Rocks jutted out like jagged teeth, and the sky above swirled with tumultuous clouds, painting a scene of impending doom. The air was thick with an electric tension, each breath Lysandra took filled with the taste of impending storm. As they approached the base of the mountains, the guardian halted, its form flickering like a flame in the wind. It warned Lysandra that from this point, she must journey alone. The guardian could not tread where the darkness lay deepest, it was bound to the brighter parts of the realm. With a final, swirling gesture, it imparted a cryptic warning: in the heart of darkness, the light of your soul will be both your shield and your peril. Now solitary, Lysandra felt the weight of her quest more acutely. She climbed the rugged slopes, her hands and feet finding holds in the cold, unyielding rock. The wind held around her, a chorus of voices from a world teetering on the brink of ruin. She pressed on, driven by a force that was more than just a desire to save her creation, it was a need to confront her own inner demons. The path grew increasingly treacherous, the darkness denser, almost tangible, as if it were a living entity. Strange whispers filled the air, echoes of her past fears and doubts, trying to unnerve her, to make her falter. But Lysandra pushed forward, her mind focused, her heart a beacon against the shadows. As she neared the summit, the world around her began to unravel. Reality bent and twisted, the laws of nature unmade. Here, at the heart of the mountains, the boundary between her realm and the darkness was at its thinnest. The air shimmered with a surreal quality, and the ground beneath her feet pulsed with an unseen heartbeat. And then she saw it, the source of the darkness. It was a rift, a tear in the very fabric of the realm, a gateway to a place of void and chaos. Around the rift, the air was thick with the essence of nightmares, visions of her darkest moments and deepest fears swirling in an endless dance. Lysandra stood at the edge of the abyss, her heart pounding in her chest. This was the moment of truth, the confrontation she had both sought and dreaded. With the light of her soul as her guide, she stepped forward, ready to face whatever lay beyond the rift, to seal it or be consumed by it. Lysandra, standing on the precipice of the unknown, gazed into the rift with a courage that belied her trembling heart. The darkness within was a maelstrom of her own fears and doubts, a mirror reflecting the parts of her soul she had long tried to bury. The air around the rift crackled with raw energy, a storm of emotions made manifest. As she stepped closer, the rift pulsed, responding to her presence. Visions swirled within its depths, moments of sadness, loneliness, and despair from her past, each a thread in the tapestry of her life. Lysandra realized then that the darkness was not just a force to be vanquished, it was a part of her, an embodiment of her own inner struggles. The confrontation was not a battle of force, but a test of understanding and acceptance. Lysandra reached within herself, touching the light of her soul, the essence of who she was beyond her fears and doubts. She acknowledged each memory, each emotion that the darkness hurled at her, not with resistance, but with acceptance. With each step forward, the rift seemed to recoil, its power waning as Lysandra embraced and accepted her own vulnerabilities. The swirling chaos within began to calm, the visions fading into wisps of shadow. She stood at the very edge of the rift, her heart a beacon of light in the enveloping darkness. Then, with a deep breath, Lysandra extended her hand towards the rift. Light flowed from her, not just the light of her soul, but the light of understanding, forgiveness, and acceptance. It met the darkness, and for a moment, there was a blinding flash, a clash of two opposing yet intimately connected forces. When her vision cleared, Lysandra found herself standing on the mountain summit, the rift gone. The sky above was clear, the twin suns shining brightly, bathing the realm in a warm, golden light. The air was fresh, free of the oppressive weight of the darkness. She had done it. She had faced the darkness within and emerged triumphant. But it was not a victory of conquest, it was a victory of reconciliation. She had learned that the darkness was a part of her, a part that needed to be acknowledged and understood, not feared and rejected. The realm she had created was transformed, no longer a place of escape, but a reflection of her journey towards self-acceptance. Lysandra looked around, her eyes seeing her creation anew, with a sense of peace and completeness. As she descended the mountain, she knew that her journey was not just a journey within the realm she had painted, but a journey within herself. She returned to her atelier, not just as an artist, but as a person reborn, ready to paint not just with colors, but with the light of her soul. Lysandra descended the mountain, her steps light, her heart unburdened. The realm around her sang a song of renewal, its melody harmonizing with the newfound peace within her soul. She walked through the meadows, now vibrant with colors more vivid than before, each flower and blade of grass a testament to her journey of self-discovery. As she reached the edge of her realm, the transition back to her atelier was gentle, like awakening from a profound dream. The familiar walls of her sanctuary welcomed her, her canvases greeting her like old friends who had witnessed her transformation. Sitting before her easel, Lysandra picked up her brush, but now it felt different in her hands. It was not just a tool, but an extension of her being, a conduit for the light of her soul to flow into her creations. The canvas before her was blank, a realm of infinite possibilities waiting to be brought to life. With each stroke, Lysandra painted not just scenes and images, but emotions and insights. Her art had gained a depth that transcended the visual. It was an expression of her journey, a narrative of her confrontation with her inner darkness and her triumph of self-acceptance. Word of her new work spread, drawing people to her atelier, each viewer finding a piece of themselves reflected in her paintings. Her art became a bridge, connecting her with others, sharing the message that the darkness within, once faced and understood, could be a source of strength and enlightenment. Lysandra's journey had reshaped her not only as an artist but as a person. She approached life with a new perspective, one that embraced all facets of her being. Her interactions with the world were no longer tinged with the shadows of past fears. Instead, they were illuminated by the light of her understanding and empathy. As days flowed into nights and seasons changed, Lysandra continued to paint, her atelier a beacon of inspiration. Each new canvas was a journey, a dive into the depths of her soul, and a dance with the light she had discovered within. The story of the Painter of Realms became a legend, not just of a world created on canvas, but of a journey within, a journey that transformed darkness into light, fear into courage, and doubt into hope. Lysandra's art became a mirror for all who viewed it, reflecting the universal journey of confronting and embracing the myriad aspects of oneself. And so, in her quaint atelier, under the ever-changing sky, Lysandra painted, her soul singing with colors, her heart at peace, her spirit forever intertwined with the realms she created. The Whispers Woods. In the heart of a world unseen, where the sun danced through the leaves like a shy child peeking through the curtains, there lay a forest, ancient as time itself. They called it the Whispering Woods, a name as mysterious as the secrets it held. This forest was no ordinary woodland. It was a realm where trees spoke in hushed tones, their voices as soft as the rustling of leaves, carrying tales from ages past and whispers of what was yet to come. Among these towering guardians of nature, there wandered a young girl, Alara. With hair as dark as the forest floor and eyes as bright as the stars that peeked through the canopy, she moved with a curiosity that knew no bounds. Alara was as much a part of the woods as the babbling brooks and the scampering wildlife. Her laughter, a melody that intertwined with the birdsong, echoed through the trees, bringing life to the otherwise still air. Alara's days were spent wandering the well-trodden paths of the forest, her fingertips brushing against the rough bark of each tree she passed. She listened intently, hoping to catch the faintest of their whispers. But the trees, in their infinite wisdom, spoke in a language not meant for human ears. This, however, did not deter Alara. Her heart yearned to uncover the secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface, secrets that the trees guarded jealously. One day, as the sun hung low in the sky, painting the world in hues of gold and amber, Alara stumbled upon a part of the woods she had never seen before. It was a place where the air felt heavier, and the light seemed to hesitate before touching the ground. The trees here were different. They stood taller, their trunks wider, and their leaves a deeper shade of green. It was as if they had drunk more deeply from the well of time than their counterparts. Alara's footsteps slowed, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. She had heard tales of a forbidden part of the woods, a place where the whispers of the trees held not just secrets, but something darker, something more sinister. The very atmosphere seemed to hum with a strange energy, a warning to those who dared to venture further. Yet, the call of the unknown was too strong for Alara to resist. With each step, she felt an invisible thread pulling her deeper into the heart of the forest. The whispers here were louder, more insistent, as if the trees were eager to share their tales with someone who would listen. As the shadows lengthened and the world around her began to blur into twilight, Alara realized that she had ventured far beyond the familiar boundaries of her beloved forest. The air was thick with the scent of ancient earth and unseen blossoms, a perfume that both soothed and unsettled her. She could feel the weight of countless eyes upon her, watching her every move with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. In the distance, a soft glow beckoned her. It was a light unlike any she had seen before, ethereal and otherworldly. Drawn by its allure, Alara quickened her pace, her heart racing with a mix of fear and fascination. As she approached the source of the light, the trees seemed to lean in closer, their whispers growing louder, more urgent. They spoke of a time long forgotten, of a secret that lay buried in the heart of the forest. Alara's mind swirled with the voices of the trees, their words intertwining with her thoughts, weaving a tapestry of mystery and magic. And there, in a clearing bathed in the soft, otherworldly light, stood the heart of the Whispering Woods. It was a sight that took Alara's breath away, a scene so beautiful and so haunting that it seemed to exist in a realm between reality and dream. Alara stepped into the clearing, her gaze fixed on the spectacle before her. The heart of the Whispering Woods was a marvel, a living, breathing entity of its own. In the center, a solitary tree stood, its bark shimmering with a silvery sheen, and its branches reaching towards the heavens like open arms. Around it, the air seemed to quiver with a palpable magic, the ground carpeted with flowers that glowed like tiny stars, casting a gentle radiance all around. The young girl's breath caught in her throat, her eyes wide with wonder. She had ventured into the woods countless times, yet she had never witnessed anything like this. The tree at the center, ancient and majestic, seemed to beckon her closer with a silent call that resonated deep within her soul. With tentative steps, Alara approached the tree. Its presence was overwhelming, yet strangely comforting. As she reached out a hand to touch the bark, the whispers of the woods crescendoed into a symphony of voices. The tree vibrated under her fingertips, and a jolt of energy surged through her, connecting her to the very essence of the forest. The voices of the trees, once indecipherable, now rang clear in her mind. They spoke of ages past, of empires risen and fallen, of love found and lost. They whispered of the magic that flowed through the roots of every tree, the lifeblood of the forest. Alara listened, entranced, as the tales of the woods unfolded before her, each story more enchanting than the last. But amidst the beauty and wonder, a darker thread wove its way through the whispers. The trees spoke of a secret, a burden they had borne for centuries. It was a tale of sorrow and sacrifice, of a darkness that threatened to consume the forest and all its inhabitants. Alara's heart ached as she listened to the sorrowful tale. She realized that the magical realm she had always loved held more than just beauty and mystery. It bore the weight of a curse, a shadow that lingered in the forgotten corners of the woods. As the last light of day faded, and the stars began to sprinkle the night sky, Alara knew that her life would never be the same. She had uncovered the heart of the Whispering Woods, and with it, a responsibility that she could not ignore. The trees, in revealing their secret, had entrusted her with a choice that would determine the fate of the forest and all its mystical inhabitants. Alara stood in the clearing, the moonlight casting a silvery glow over her figure. She felt the weight of her newfound knowledge, a burden as heavy as it was profound. The Whispering Woods had spoken, and now, it was her turn to decide the path forward. Under the moon's ethereal glow, Alara stood motionless, her mind a whirlpool of thoughts and emotions. The revelation of the forest's secret had rooted her to the spot, as immovable as the ancient trees surrounding her. She felt a deep connection to the whispering woods, a bond that went beyond mere affection for her childhood playground. The forest's fate was now inexplicably tied to her own, a responsibility that weighed heavily on her young shoulders. As she pondered over the revelations, a rustling sound broke the silence of the night. From the shadows emerged a figure, cloaked in the darkness, its presence almost as mystical as the woods itself. Elara's heart skipped a beat, but her curiosity anchored her in place. The figure stepped into the moonlight, revealing itself to be an old woman. Her eyes were as deep as the night sky, and her face was etched with lines that spoke of wisdom and age. She looked at Elara with a gaze that seemed to pierce her very soul. "You have heard the whispers, child." The woman's voice was like the rustling of leaves, both ancient and timeless. "The burden of knowledge is a heavy one, and the path you choose will shape the destiny of this forest." Elara listened, her heart pounding in her chest. The woman, whom she felt was no ordinary forest dweller, spoke of the balance of nature, the delicate thread that held everything together. She warned of the dangers of revealing the secret, how it could lead to the destruction of the mystical realm. "But remember," the old woman continued, her voice softening, "secrets have a way of coming to light, and sometimes, the truth can be the key to salvation. The choice is yours, Elara, but choose wisely, for the consequences will echo through the ages." The woman's words lingered in the air as she melted back into the shadows, leaving Elara alone once again. The young girl felt a storm of emotions raging within her. The decision she faced was monumental, a choice between revealing the truth and potentially saving the forest or keeping the secret and preserving the status quo. As the night deepened, Elara knew that time was not on her side. The secret of the Whispering Woods, now entrusted to her, was a ticking clock, counting down to an unknown end. She needed to make a decision, one that would not only affect her but the entire realm she had grown to love. With the moon as her only companion, Elara began to walk back through the forest, each step taking her closer to the dawn of a new day and the moment of her ultimate decision. The trees seemed to watch her, their whispers now a solemn murmur, as if they too were awaiting the outcome of her choice. Elara's journey back through the whispering corridors of the forest was a solitary one, filled with introspection and a tumult of emotions. The moon, a silent observer in the sky, cast a silver path for her, guiding her steps through the labyrinth of ancient trees. Each whisper of the wind, each rustle of leaves seemed to be a voice, urging her to make her choice, to decide the fate of this mystical realm. As she walked, her mind replayed the old woman's words, each syllable echoing like a distant drum. The burden of the secret weighed on her, a heavy cloak that she could neither cast off nor fully embrace. She thought of the magical tree at the heart of the forest, its branches reaching out to the stars, as if pleading for guidance from the heavens. Elara's heart was torn. Revealing the secret could either lead to the salvation or the downfall of the Whispering Woods. Keeping it hidden, on the other hand, meant living with the fear of the unknown, the potential threat that lurked in the shadows of the unspoken. The right path seemed shrouded in mist, elusive and daunting. As the night waned, the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange. The forest slowly awakened, its inhabitants stirring from their nocturnal slumbers. The birds began their morning chorus, a symphony that seemed to herald the arrival of a decisive day. Alara reached a small clearing, a place where she had often come to think. She sat down, the dew-covered grass cool under her. The decision loomed over her like the towering trees, immense and overwhelming. In the quiet of the dawn, Alara closed her eyes, seeking the calm center of her storm-tossed thoughts. She thought of the forest, of its beauty and mystery, of the joy and solace it had given her throughout her life. She thought of the old woman's words, of balance and truth, and the delicate thread that held everything together. Then, in that moment of stillness, clarity dawned upon her. Alara's eyes opened, a new light shining in them, the light of resolve. She knew what she had to do. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty and danger, but it was a path she was willing to take for the sake of the Whispering Woods. With the first rays of the sun warming her face, Alara stood up, her decision made. She took a deep breath, feeling a newfound strength coursing through her. The trees seemed to lean in, their whispers a gentle caress, as if in approval of her choice. Alara was ready to face whatever lay ahead. She had chosen her path, and with it, the destiny of the Whispering Woods. The journey ahead would be challenging, but she was no longer the unsure girl who had stumbled upon the forest's heart. She was a guardian, a protector of the mystical realm, and she would do whatever it took to safeguard its secrets and its magic. With the resolve of a guardian etched in her heart, Alara began her journey, not just through the physical paths of the Whispering Woods, but through a labyrinth of challenges that lay ahead. She knew her decision would not be without consequences, and she braced herself for what was to come. Her first step was to gather allies, those who believed in the sanctity of the woods and were willing to stand with her. She reached out to the creatures of the forest, from the wise old owls to the quick-footed deer. Each animal, in its own way, was a custodian of the wood's secrets. Alara spoke to them, not in words, but through a connection that transcended language, a bond born of shared love and respect for the forest. Among her newfound allies was a fox, clever and quick, with a coat as red as the setting sun. The fox, known to the woods as Lyra, proved to be an invaluable companion, guiding Alara through the lesser-known trails and offering sage advice with a wit as sharp as her instincts. Together, they ventured deeper into the woods, towards the heart where the magical tree stood. Alara's plan was to strengthen the magic of the tree, to create a barrier that would protect the forest from any external threats. However, this was no simple task. It required a deep understanding of the ancient magics that flowed through the roots and branches of the Whispering Woods. As they journeyed, Alara encountered challenges that tested her resolve. Thorny brambles seemed to block their path, and at times, an eerie fog descended upon them, disorienting their senses. Yet, Alara pushed forward, her determination unwavering, guided by the light of her purpose. It was during one such challenge, as they navigated a particularly dense part of the forest, that they stumbled upon an unexpected ally. A young boy, no older than Alara, emerged from the shadows. His name was Kalen, and he claimed to be a wanderer who had been drawn to the woods by the whispers of magic. Kalen, though initially mysterious and guarded, proved to be a knowledgeable guide. He spoke of the ancient rites and rituals of the forest, of the old magic that pulsed beneath the surface. With his help, Alara's understanding of the task ahead deepened, and her resolve strengthened. Together, the trio made their way to the heart of the Whispering Woods, where the magical tree awaited. The sun was now high in the sky, casting dappled light through the leaves, painting the forest floor in a mosaic of light and shadow. As they reached the clearing, Alara felt a surge of energy. The tree, sensing her presence, seemed to awaken, its leaves rustling in anticipation. The air was charged with magic, and the whispers of the woods grew louder, a chorus of voices urging her on. Alara stepped forward, her hands outstretched towards the tree. She closed her eyes, focusing her thoughts, her energy, channeling the love and protection she felt for the woods into the heart of the tree. The magic swirled around her, a whirlwind of light and color, as she began the ancient ritual that would bind her fate to that of the Whispering Woods. In the heart of the Whispering Woods, surrounded by the ancient guardians of nature, Alara stood with her arms outstretched towards the magical tree. The air hummed with energy, the ground beneath her feet pulsating with the life force of the forest. Lyra and Kaylin stood by her side, their presence a silent support in this monumental moment. As Alara began the ritual, she felt a connection to the very essence of the woods. The whispers of the trees intensified, a symphony of voices guiding her, imbuing her with ancient knowledge and power. She chanted in a language as old as the woods themselves, her voice harmonizing with the rustling leaves and the murmuring brook nearby. The magic surged through her, a torrent of light and shadow, weaving around the tree, enveloping it in a cocoon of energy. The tree responded, its bark glowing with a soft, ethereal light, its leaves shimmering as if touched by the dawn's first light. The ground vibrated, and the air seemed to shimmer, the boundary between the physical and the magical realms blurring. Lyra, with her keen fox instincts, sensed the shift in the air, her eyes reflecting the dancing lights of the ritual. Kaylin watched in awe, his knowledge of the old magic paling in comparison to the spectacle unfolding before him. He realized then that Alara was not just a guardian of the forest, she was a part of it, a conduit for its ancient power. The ritual reached its crescendo, and Alara's voice rose to a peak, her words resonating through the woods, reaching every corner, every hidden nook. The energy gathered in a brilliant flash, a burst of light that seemed to pierce the heavens. And then, as quickly as it had escalated, the energy receded, the light dimming, the whispers quieting. The magic settled like dew upon the leaves, a gentle, soothing presence. The tree stood tall and majestic, its new barrier a shimmering veil, visible only to those who knew how to look. Alara opened her eyes, her breath coming in soft gasps. She felt drained, yet exhilarated. The ritual was complete, the magic of the forest strengthened. She had bound her life force to the tree, to the woods, becoming a true guardian, a protector of its secrets and its majesty. Lyra nuzzled her hand, a gesture of companionship and respect. Kaylin stepped forward, a look of admiration and wonder on his face. "You did it," he whispered, his voice filled with awe. Alara looked around at the forest she had grown to love, feeling a deeper connection than ever before. She had chosen her path, and in doing so, had changed the destiny of the Whispering Woods. As the trio made their way back through the forest, the trees whispered their gratitude, their leaves rustling in a gentle applause. The forest was safe, its magic secured by the courage and determination of a young girl who had once wandered its paths in innocent curiosity. In the days following the ritual, the Whispering Woods seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The barrier that Alara had fortified around the forest not only protected it from external threats, but also seemed to rejuvenate its very essence. The trees stood taller, their leaves a richer shade of green, and the air buzzed with a renewed vitality. Alara, now recognized by all as the guardian of the Whispering Woods, embraced her role with a solemn dedication. Her connection to the forest was more profound than ever. She could sense its joys and its pains, its ebb and flow. She roamed the woods, a vigilant protector, ensuring the balance of nature was maintained. Lyra, the fox, remained by Alara's side, her keen senses a valuable asset in guarding the forest. She became Alara's eyes and ears, alert to the slightest disturbance in the natural harmony of their home. Their bond, forged in the heart of the woods, was unbreakable, a friendship that transcended species. Kalen, the mysterious wanderer, found a new purpose in the Whispering Woods. Under Alara's guidance, he learned more about the ancient magic and the sacred duty of protecting the forest. He chose to stay, becoming an apprentice of sorts to Alara, helping her in her guardianship duties, and learning the ways of the woods. Together, the trio formed a formidable team, each bringing their unique strengths to the fore. The animals of the forest, from the smallest squirrel to the largest bear, recognized and respected their roles, aiding them in keeping the peace and harmony of the woods. As the seasons changed, bringing new challenges and joys, Alara, Lyra, and Kalen adapted and grew. They became legends in their own right, whispered about in the neighboring villages, revered as the keepers of the mystical Whispering Woods. The forest, once a place of hidden fears and dark secrets, transformed into a sanctuary of magic and wonder. Travelers from distant lands came seeking the wisdom of the woods, and Alara, with her deep understanding of its secrets, offered guidance and counsel. In the heart of the forest, where the magical tree stood, a subtle change had occurred. The tree, now a beacon of the forest's strength, glowed softly at night, its light a symbol of hope and protection. It was a reminder of the bond between Alara and the Whispering Woods, a testament to her bravery and her sacrifice. As the story of Alara and the Whispering Woods spread, it became a tale of inspiration, a reminder of the power of courage and the importance of protecting the natural world. The forest thrived, a magical realm where the whispers of the trees told tales of a young guardian, a clever fox, and a curious wanderer who together saved their beloved home. And so, in the heart of the Whispering Woods, peace reigned, guarded by the unwavering spirit of a girl who had once walked its paths with wide-eyed wonder, now its most devoted protector. As seasons turned and years passed, the legend of Alara and the Whispering Woods grew, weaving itself into the fabric of the surrounding lands. Alara, once a curious girl wandering the forest paths, had become a symbol of strength, courage, and guardianship. Her journey from an innocent explorer to the guardian of the woods was a tale told and retold, inspiring those who heard it. Under her watch, the Whispering Woods flourished like never before. The barriers she had fortified around the forest not only kept it safe, but also seemed to amplify its natural magic. The trees grew taller and stronger, the rivers and brooks sang clearer songs, and the creatures of the woods lived in harmony, their lives intertwined with the forest's well-being. Lyra, the red fox, had grown into more than just a companion. She was Alara's confidant, a guardian in her own right. Together, they patrolled the woods, a seamless blend of human intuition and animal instinct, ensuring that the balance of nature remained undisturbed. Kalen, who had entered the woods as a wanderer, had found his calling. Under Alara's mentorship, he had learned the ancient ways of the forest, its secrets, and its magic. He was no longer just an apprentice. he was a protector, integral to the guardianship of the woods. As the guardian trio walked through the forest one twilight, they paused in the clearing where the magical tree stood. The tree, with its shimmering bark and radiant leaves, was more than a symbol. It was the heart of the Whispering Woods, a living testament to the forest's history and Alara's sacrifice. Alara looked up at the tree, her heart filled with a sense of peace and purpose. She had grown with the woods, her life inextricably linked to its fate. The whispers of the trees, once enigmatic, were now familiar voices, telling tales of the past and hinting at the future. The forest was alive with magic and wonder, a haven for all who sought its comfort. The barrier, once a shield against threats, now also served as a beacon, attracting those who sought understanding and connection with the natural world. In the twilight, the forest seemed to glow, a magical realm at the cusp of night and day. Alara, Lyra, and Kaelin stood together, a tableau of unity and strength. They had faced challenges and triumphed, creating a legacy that would endure through the ages. The Whispering Woods, with its secrets and wonders, continued to thrive, a testament to the power of protection and the importance of respecting and preserving the natural world. The whispers of the trees carried on the wind, telling the story of Alara, the girl who had become its guardian, a tale of magic, courage, and love for the wild, untamed heart of nature. And so, in the heart of the woods, where magic danced in the air and the trees whispered secrets of old and new, peace and harmony reigned, protected by the unyielding spirit of the girl who had embraced her destiny as the guardian of the Whispering Woods. In a realm where time whispered secrets through the ancient trees, and mountains bore witness to epics unfolding, there lay a kingdom where the sky had forgotten the shadow of dragons. It was a land of chivalrous knights and ethereal tales, a place where the echoes of dragons' roars were but distant memories, preserved in the minds of wise elders and the pages of time-worn books. The dawn stretched its golden fingers over the kingdom, painting the sky with hues of amber and rose. The first light of day shimmered on the dew-laden grass, turning each droplet into a sparkling gem. Birds chirped their melodious tunes, serenading the world as it awoke from its slumber. In the heart of this serene landscape stood a fortress as old as the legends it housed. Its towering walls, crafted from the finest stone, had withstood the test of time and the sieges of forgotten wars. Atop its highest tower, a flag fluttered proudly, a symbol of the kingdom's enduring spirit. Within these walls, there lived a knight, Sir Cedric, whose valor and kindness were known far and wide. His armor, polished to a mirror sheen, reflected the virtues of his heart, courage, honor, and an unwavering sense of justice. Sir Cedric was not just a warrior, he was a guardian of peace, a beacon of hope in a world that often teetered on the brink of darkness. As the sun ascended higher, casting its warmth across the land, Sir Cedric rode out from the fortress on his loyal steed, a magnificent horse with a coat as black as the midnight sky. They ventured into the dense forest that bordered the kingdom, a labyrinth of ancient trees and hidden paths where sunlight dappled the forest floor through the thick canopy above. The forest whispered secrets of a bygone era, a time when dragons ruled the skies, their majestic wings casting vast shadows upon the earth. These creatures were revered and feared, symbols of power and wisdom. But as the years passed, they faded into legend, their existence questioned by skeptics and dreamers alike. It was on this ordinary day, under the watchful eyes of the old trees, that Sir Cedric's life would take an extraordinary turn. Amidst a clearing, where the sun broke through the dense foliage, he discovered something that defied belief, a dragon's egg, cradled in a nest of silver leaves, its surface shimmering with an ethereal light. The egg was unlike anything Sir Cedric had ever seen. It pulsed with a life force, a palpable energy that seemed to resonate with the very core of the earth. The realization dawned upon him: this was the last dragon's egg, a relic of a forgotten age, holding within it the potential to change the world. As he reached out to touch the egg, a sense of awe washed over him. He could feel the faint heartbeat within, a promise of life waiting to emerge. But with this miraculous discovery came a heavy burden. Sir Cedric knew that the existence of the egg would ignite a fire of desire in the hearts of those who sought its power. The knight stood there, amidst the tranquility of the forest, holding the fate of an entire species in his hands. The egg, radiant and mysterious, was a beacon of hope, but also a harbinger of potential doom. For within its shell lay not just any dragon, but the soul of the ancient dragon queen, a being of immense power and wisdom. Sir Cedric was faced with a choice: to harness this power for the good of the kingdom, or to let the dragon lineage die, ending an era of myth and majesty. The weight of this decision pressed heavily upon his shoulders, as the fate of the last dragon's egg, and perhaps the kingdom itself, rested in his hands. As Sir Cedric stood in the dappled sunlight, cradling the egg with a mix of reverence and trepidation, his mind wandered to tales he'd heard in his youth. Legends of dragons who shaped the land, their breath carving valleys and mountains, their wings stirring the winds. These stories, once alive in the flickering flames of campfires, now seemed to pulse with truth within his grasp. He mounted his steed, the egg secured gently in his saddlebag, and set off towards the fortress. The forest, once a familiar friend, now felt like a labyrinth of eyes and whispers. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, seemed to carry the weight of unseen watchers. Sir Cedric knew the importance of his discovery must be kept secret, for the egg's existence would surely ignite a storm of greed and power. As he rode through the towering gates of the fortress, the familiar sights of the kingdom greeted him: bustling markets, children playing in the streets, and the gentle flow of daily life. Yet, beneath this veneer of peace, Sir Cedric felt a stirring of unease. The kingdom, unaware of the egg's existence, was on the cusp of a change that could either bring a new era of prosperity or plunge it into chaos. In the seclusion of his quarters, Sir Cedric pondered his next move. The egg, now resting on a bed of soft velvet, seemed almost otherworldly in the dim light of his room. Its surface was a tapestry of iridescent hues, like the inside of an oyster shell, and it hummed with a quiet energy that filled the room with a sense of ancient wisdom. As night fell, Sir Cedric's thoughts were interrupted by a soft knock on his door. It was his old friend and mentor, Merlin, a sage known throughout the kingdom for his wisdom and mastery of the arcane arts. Merlin's eyes, always twinkling with knowledge and a hint of mischief, held a serious gleam as he entered the room. "Sir Cedric, I have felt a disturbance in the fabric of our world," Merlin began, his voice low and urgent. "A shift in the balance of power that has not been felt for centuries. Tell me, what have you found in the forest?" With a deep breath, Sir Cedric revealed the egg to Merlin, watching as the sage's eyes widened in awe and recognition. "By the stars! The last dragon's egg," Merlin whispered, his voice barely audible. "Do you realize what you have found, Cedric? This egg could herald the return of the Dragon Age, a time of wonder and terror." Merlin explained that the egg held the soul of the ancient dragon queen, a being whose power could shape the destiny of the kingdom. Her return could either bring an era of peace and enlightenment, as she shared the ancient wisdom of her kind, or it could unleash destruction, should her power fall into the wrong hands. Sir Cedric listened intently, the weight of his responsibility growing heavier with each word. He knew that the fate of the kingdom, and perhaps the world, now rested in his hands. He must protect the egg from those who would exploit its power for their own ends, while also preparing for the possibility of the Dragon Queen's return. As the moon rose high in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the kingdom, Sir Cedric and Merlin devised a plan. They would keep the egg hidden, safeguarding it within the fortress while seeking out allies who could help protect it. But they were not alone in their knowledge of the egg's existence. Shadows moved in the darkness, and eyes watched from hidden corners. The race to control the fate of the last dragon's egg had begun. The following morning, the kingdom awoke to another day, oblivious to the monumental secret harbored within its walls. Sir Cedric, after a night of restless contemplation, donned his armor with a renewed sense of purpose. The metallic clinks echoed in his chamber, each piece a reminder of the knight's duty to protect and serve. Merlin, having spent the night poring over ancient tomes and scrolls, joined Sir Cedric at the break of dawn. "We must tread carefully, Cedric," he advised, his eyes weary yet resolute. "There are forces at play here that we may not fully understand. The egg's presence will not remain hidden for long." Their first ally was Lady Eleanor, a noblewoman renowned for her intelligence and grace. Her lineage traced back to a time when humans and dragons coexisted peacefully, and her family crest bore the emblem of a dragon in flight. Sir Cedric and Merlin trusted her wisdom and knew her loyalty to the kingdom was unwavering. In the privacy of Lady Eleanor's lush garden, where roses and jasmine perfumed the air, they revealed the existence of the egg. Her reaction was one of astonishment and reverence. "This is a sign," she whispered, her gaze fixed on the glowing egg. "A sign that the old ways are not yet lost, and a new chapter is about to unfold." Meanwhile, in the shadowy corners of the kingdom, word of the egg's existence began to spread like wildfire. Whispers in taverns, exchanges in dark alleys, and coded messages among the elite, the hunt for the last dragon's egg had begun in earnest. Among those drawn to the allure of the egg was Lord Blackthorn, a powerful and ambitious noble with a reputation for ruthlessness. His spies, spread throughout the kingdom, sought any information that could lead him to this prize. For Lord Blackthorn believed that the power of the Dragon Queen could be harnessed to his will, securing his dominance over the kingdom and beyond. As Sir Cedric, Merlin, and Lady Eleanor strategized their next move, they remained unaware of the growing danger. Plans were set in motion to transfer the egg to a more secure location, one known only to a trusted few. Yet, as they prepared for the journey, a sense of unease hung in the air, a premonition of trials and tribulations to come. The egg, nestled safely in a chest lined with the softest silks, seemed to pulse with a quiet urgency. It was as if the Dragon Queen herself was aware of the perils that lay ahead, her ancient spirit stirring within the confines of her shell. Sir Cedric, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword, looked out from the battlements of the fortress. The kingdom stretched out before him, a tapestry of rolling hills, dense forests, and tranquil rivers. He knew that the peace of this land hinged on the fate of the egg and that the coming days would test the very limits of his courage and resolve. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the kingdom into twilight, a new chapter in the saga of the last dragon's egg was about to begin. a tale of bravery, betrayal, and the eternal dance between light and shadow. Under the cloak of night, a caravan quietly departed from the fortress, its path illuminated by the faint glow of lanterns. Sir Cedric, clad in a dark cloak to mask his armor's gleam, led the procession, his senses heightened to any sign of danger. Beside him rode Lady Eleanor, her poise unwavering despite the uncertainty of their journey. Merlin, perched atop a sturdy horse, murmured incantations under his breath, casting protective wards around the caravan. The air shimmered momentarily, a subtle sign that their passage was shielded from prying eyes. Yet, even with the sage's magic, the threat of Lord Blackthorn's spies loomed like a specter in the shadows. The road they traversed was an old one, known only to a few. It wound through dense forests and across babbling brooks, away from the prying eyes of the kingdom. The night was eerily silent, save for the occasional hoot of an owl or the rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze. As they journeyed, Sir Cedric recounted tales of the dragons of old, majestic creatures who wielded the elements as easily as one breathes air. He spoke of their wisdom and the harmony they once shared with mankind. Lady Eleanor listened intently, her eyes reflecting the fire of a long-lost world. But the tranquility of their journey was short-lived. As they neared a narrow pass, with cliffs rising high on either side, a sense of foreboding washed over Sir Cedric. He signaled the caravan to halt, his hand instinctively reaching for his sword. Without warning, a flurry of arrows sliced through the night, aimed with deadly precision at the caravan. Sir Cedric's reflexes took over, his sword deflecting the projectiles as he shouted commands to his companions. From the shadows emerged a band of mercenaries, their allegiance clear by the emblems of Lord Blackthorn emblazoned on their tunics. A fierce skirmish ensued, the clash of steel echoing through the pass. Sir Cedric fought with the might of 10 men, his sword a blur of silver in the moonlight. Lady Eleanor, not one to stand idly by, drew her own blade, fighting alongside the knight with a grace and ferocity that belied her noble upbringing. Merlin, meanwhile, chanted arcane words, his hands weaving patterns in the air. The ground beneath the mercenaries trembled, vines and roots sprouting rapidly to entangle their feet. The tide of battle turned, but the danger was far from over. In the midst of the chaos, a shadowy figure slipped past the fray, his eyes fixed on the chest that held the dragon egg. This was no ordinary mercenary, it was one of Lord Blackthorn's most trusted agents, skilled in the art of stealth and subterfuge. Sir Cedric, catching a glimpse of the figure, broke away from the battle and gave chase. The agent was quick, but the knight's determination fueled his pursuit. Through the dense forest they ran, the agent just out of reach, the chest containing the egg bouncing precariously in his grasp. As they neared a clearing, Sir Cedric summoned every ounce of his strength and lunged, tackling the agent to the ground. The chest fell open, revealing the dragon egg, which glowed intensely as if responding to the peril it faced. Sir Cedric and the agent grappled fiercely, but it was the knight's training and resolve that prevailed. With the agent subdued, Sir Cedric reclaimed the egg, cradling it gently as he returned to the caravan. The knight's ordeal had taken its toll, but the egg was safe. They continued their journey, wary of further attacks, yet emboldened by the knowledge that they were the last line of defense in protecting a legacy that could change the world. As dawn broke, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, the caravan arrived at its destination, an ancient stronghold, hidden from the world, where the last dragon's egg could be guarded in secret. But this was only the beginning of their story, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring hope that the return of the dragons would herald a new era of peace and prosperity. The stronghold, nestled in a valley surrounded by towering peaks, was a relic of an age when magic and mystery intertwined with the fabric of the world. Its walls, overgrown with ivy and moss, whispered tales of ancient guardians and hidden secrets. This secluded haven was the perfect refuge for the last dragon's egg, a place where its ancient energy could resonate with the old magic still lingering in the stones. Sir Cedric, Lady Eleanor, and Merlin, along with their loyal companions, set about fortifying the stronghold. They repaired the crumbling walls, reinforced the gates, and set wards of protection that Merlin carefully crafted. Each stone laid, each spell woven, was a testament to their dedication to safeguarding the egg. Within the heart of the stronghold lay a chamber, hewn from the living rock of the mountain. Here, they placed the egg upon a pedestal of crystal, where it seemed to pulse in harmony with the earth itself. The chamber was sealed with both physical locks and magical barriers, ensuring that only those with pure intentions could enter. As they worked, the bond between the trio grew stronger. Sir Cedric and Lady Eleanor, both fierce in their own right, found a mutual respect and understanding born from their shared commitment. Merlin, with his vast knowledge and wisdom, guided them, though he often pondered the deeper implications of the egg's presence in their world. One evening, as the stars peppered the sky with silvery light, Merlin gathered the group in the stronghold's ancient library. Dusty tomes and scrolls lined the walls, each a bearer of forgotten knowledge. With a solemn expression, Merlin unrolled an ancient parchment, its edges frayed with time. "This," he began, "is the prophecy of the dragon's return, written eons ago when dragons and humans walked side by side. It speaks of a time when the last dragon's egg will herald the dawn of a new age, but also warns of a great turmoil that will precede it." The prophecy was cryptic, speaking of fire and shadow, of a bond between dragon and human that would bring about either salvation or destruction. It was clear that the egg they protected was more than just the last remnant of a forgotten species, it was the key to a future yet unwritten. Meanwhile, Lord Blackthorn, thwarted but not defeated, plotted his next move. His desire for the egg had grown into an obsession, a craving for power that blinded him to the potential consequences. He gathered his most skilled sorcerers and warriors, planning a siege on the stronghold that would bring the egg within his grasp. Back at the stronghold, unaware of the looming threat, the group continued their vigil. Each day brought new challenges, scouting the surrounding lands for signs of danger, deciphering more of the ancient texts, and ensuring the egg's safety. Yet, amidst their duties, they could not ignore the egg's subtle changes. The egg's surface had begun to shimmer more intensely, and at times, they thought they heard faint whispers emanating from within. It was as if the Dragon Queen herself was reaching out, her ancient soul preparing to step into a world that had long forgotten her kind. As the moon waned and a new cycle began, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. The time of the egg's hatching drew near, and with it, the fulfillment of a prophecy that would change their world forever. As the siege of Lord Blackthorn loomed like a dark cloud on the horizon, the stronghold became a beacon of steadfast resistance. Sir Cedric, Lady Eleanor, and Merlin, alongside their small but resolute band, prepared for the inevitable confrontation. They fortified the entrances, stockpiled supplies, and trained day and night, each knowing that the battle ahead would determine the fate of the last dragon's egg. Merlin, delving deeper into his mystical arts, enhanced the stronghold's defenses with powerful enchantments. The very air around the fortress shimmered with arcane energy, forming an invisible shield against intruders. Yet, despite their preparations, a sense of unease pervaded the atmosphere, a premonition of the trials to come. Meanwhile, the egg's transformation became more pronounced. It pulsed with a rhythmic glow, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. Sir Cedric and Lady Eleanor often found themselves drawn to the chamber, watching in awe as the egg seemed to communicate in a language beyond words. Its whispers spoke of ancient wisdom and a deep connection to the natural world. One fateful night, as a storm gathered in the distance, lightning illuminating the darkened sky, a new revelation came to light. Merlin, poring over an ancient manuscript, discovered a forgotten aspect of the prophecy. It spoke of a chosen guardian, a human whose heart resonated with the dragon's soul, one who would bridge the gap between the two species. The sage presented this revelation to the group, sparking a discussion about who this chosen guardian might be. Was it Sir Cedric, whose bravery and honor were unmatched? Or Lady Eleanor, whose lineage and wisdom connected her to the dragons of old? The answer remained shrouded in mystery, yet each felt a deep connection to the egg and its impending hatching. As the days passed, Lord Blackthorn's forces gathered strength. His army, a mix of mercenaries, dark sorcerers, and creatures of shadow, marched towards the stronghold, their intentions as dark as the night. The air grew heavy with the scent of impending war, and the once peaceful valley braced for the onslaught. The night before the siege, the group gathered in the great hall, a moment of calm before the storm. They shared stories of their past, their hopes for the future, and their commitment to protect the egg at all costs. The bond they shared transcended their individual quests. They were united in a purpose greater than themselves. As dawn broke, casting a pale light over the valley, the first signs of Lord Blackthorn's army appeared on the horizon. Banners bearing the emblem of a raven fluttered in the wind, and the sound of marching feet echoed through the air. The siege of the stronghold had begun. Sir Cedric, clad in his armor, stood atop the battlements, his gaze steely and resolute. Beside him, Lady Eleanor and Merlin readied themselves, each playing their part in the defense. The air crackled with tension, the moment of truth at hand. As the first wave of attackers approached, arrows flew and spells were cast. The battle was fierce, the defenders fighting with a ferocity born of desperation and hope. The stronghold, imbued with ancient magic and the courage of its protectors, stood strong against the tide. Amidst the chaos of battle, a miracle occurred within the chamber of the egg. It began to crack, the sound resonating through the stone walls. Light spilled from the fissures, casting ethereal patterns across the room. The hatching of the Dragon Queen was imminent, a moment that would change the course of history. Outside, as the battle raged on, the sky seemed to respond to the egg's awakening. The storm intensified, lightning streaking across the heavens, as if nature itself was bearing witness to the birth of the last dragon. The siege of the stronghold was a maelstrom of clashing steel, roaring spells, and the determined cries of its defenders. Sir Cedric led the front line with valor, his sword cutting through the enemies like a tempest. Lady Eleanor, with bow in hand, was a vision of grace and ferocity, her arrows finding their mark with deadly precision. Merlin, his staff aglow with arcane energy, thwarted the dark sorcerers of Lord Blackthorn with powerful counter-spells, his chants echoing across the battlefield. As the conflict reached its zenith, a remarkable transformation unfolded within the secluded chamber. The egg, now suffused with a radiant light, cracked open, revealing the Dragon Queen. She was magnificent, her scales shimmering with a spectrum of colors, her eyes holding the wisdom of ages. The air around her hummed with power, and a sense of awe permeated the stronghold. The Dragon Queen, still a hatchling yet ancient in spirit, surveyed her surroundings with a curious gaze. She seemed to sense the turmoil outside and, with an instinctive understanding, knew her destiny was intertwined with the fate of those who had protected her. Outside, the battle took a perilous turn. Lord Blackthorn, seeing the defenders' resilience, unleashed his most fearsome weapon, a dark entity, a shadowy beast conjured from the abyss. It tore through the ranks, leaving destruction in its wake, its eyes burning with malice. In the midst of this chaos, a profound connection was forged between Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen. The knight, fighting near the chamber, felt a call in his heart, a resonance that drew him to the hatchling. As their eyes met, a bond of understanding and kinship formed, transcending words. Sir Cedric knew then that he was the chosen guardian, the one destined to unite the legacy of dragons and humans. With the Dragon Queen by his side, Sir Cedric emerged onto the battlefield, a sight that turned the tide of the siege. The defenders, inspired by the presence of the dragon, rallied with renewed vigor, while the attackers faltered, awestruck and fearful. The Dragon Queen, sensing the darkness of the shadowy entity, let out a resonant roar that shook the very foundation of the stronghold. She unleashed a breath of fire, not of destruction, but of purifying light, a flame that sought to banish the darkness. The shadowy beast, unable to withstand the purity of her power, dissipated into the ether, its threat extinguished. Lord Blackthorn, witnessing the defeat of his ultimate weapon, was filled with rage and disbelief. He realized the futility of his quest. The power of the dragon was not something to be wielded, but to be respected and revered. The remaining attackers, seeing their leader's dismay and the dragon's might, retreated in disarray, their hopes of conquest shattered. The siege was broken, and the stronghold stood victorious, a testament to the courage and unity of its defenders. In the aftermath, as the sun rose over the horizon, casting a golden light over the scarred battlefield, a new era dawned. The Dragon Queen, with Sir Cedric by her side, was not just a symbol of power, but of hope, a bridge between the ancient and the modern, between humans and dragons. The kingdom, once divided by fear and ambition, now looked towards a future where both species could coexist in harmony. The Dragon Queen, with her guardian Sir Cedric, would guide them on this new path, a journey of understanding, respect, and shared destiny. In the wake of the siege's resolution, the kingdom entered a period of profound transformation. The presence of the Dragon Queen, a majestic being of ancient lineage, inspired awe and reverence among the people. With Sir Cedric as her guardian, they embarked on a journey to bridge the worlds of humans and dragons, fostering a harmony long thought impossible. The stronghold, once a secluded bastion, became a place of pilgrimage. Scholars, diplomats, and the curious flocked to witness the Dragon Queen and seek her wisdom. She spoke not in words but through a deep, empathic connection, imparting insights that resonated with the hearts of those who visited. Sir Cedric, now known as the Dragon Knight, assumed his role with a sense of duty and honor. His bond with the Dragon Queen deepened, their spirits intertwined in a dance of mutual respect and understanding. He became her voice, translating her silent wisdom into guidance for those who sought it. Lady Eleanor, ever the wise and gracious noble, played a pivotal role in navigating the political shifts within the kingdom. Her ancestral ties to the dragons provided her with a unique perspective, enabling her to bridge the gap between ancient traditions and the new world that was emerging. Merlin, the sage who had foreseen much of this change, continued his studies and served as an advisor. He delved into the mysteries of dragon magic, seeking to understand the deeper connection between the earth and these celestial beings. As the kingdom adapted to this new era, it saw a renaissance of art, philosophy, and magic. The Dragon Queen's presence inspired a shift towards greater environmental stewardship, as people began to understand and respect the natural world more deeply. The arts flourished, with poets, painters, and musicians drawing inspiration from the majesty of the dragon and the tales of the Dragon Knight. However, this period of enlightenment was not without its challenges. Skeptics and those who clung to the old ways of fear and prejudice against dragons posed a threat to the harmony that was being built. Sir Cedric and his allies faced these challenges head-on, striving to overcome ignorance with knowledge and fear with understanding. The Dragon Queen, for her part, showed a profound patience and compassion. She occasionally took flight, soaring over the kingdom, a spectacle that filled the onlookers with wonder. Her flights were not mere displays of power, but symbols of the boundless possibilities that lay in the union of different worlds. New adventures unfolded as Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen navigated this evolving landscape. They embarked on diplomatic missions, seeking to spread the message of harmony to neighboring lands. They encountered ancient mysteries and remnants of the dragon's past, each discovery shedding light on the long and intertwined history of dragons and humans. The duo also faced external threats, from dark corners of the world where old grudges lingered and new enmities formed. These challenges tested their resolve, but also strengthened the bonds among the kingdom's people, uniting them under the banner of peace and mutual prosperity. As they stood on the battlements of the stronghold one evening, watching the stars twinkle in the vast sky, Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen reflected on the journey thus far. They had achieved much, yet the path ahead was laden with untold adventures and trials. Together, they looked towards the horizon, ready to face whatever the future held, guided by a bond that transcended time and species. The kingdom's transformation under the guidance of Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and enlightenment. However, their journey was far from over. The world beyond the kingdom's borders was vast, filled with mysteries to unravel and alliances to forge. One of the first diplomatic ventures led Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen to the neighboring realm of Eldoria. Eldoria was a land steeped in tradition, its rulers skeptical of the newfound harmony between humans and dragons. The mission was delicate. It required not only diplomatic tact, but also a demonstration of the mutual respect and understanding that had flourished in their kingdom. As they entered Eldoria, the Dragon Queen's majestic presence captivated the Eldorian court. Sir Cedric, with eloquence and sincerity, spoke of the changes their kingdom had undergone, the benefits of living in harmony with dragons, and the shared prosperity it could bring. Gradually, the Eldorians, moved by the Dragon Queen's noble demeanor and Sir Cedric's words, began to embrace the possibility of change. Back in their kingdom, Lady Eleanor and Merlin delved into a mystery that had long intrigued scholars: the lost archives of Dracoria, an ancient library rumored to hold the collective wisdom of dragonkind. Hidden for centuries, the archives were believed to contain knowledge about the deep magic of the earth and the secrets of the dragon's ancient legacy. Their quest led them to the forgotten ruins of Dracoria, nestled in the heart of an enchanted forest. The journey was fraught with challenges, from deciphering ancient riddles to navigating through mystical barriers. But their perseverance paid off when they finally uncovered the entrance to the archives, a vast cavern filled with scrolls, tomes, and artifacts of a bygone era. Meanwhile, the kingdom faced its own set of internal struggles. A faction of dissenters, led by a charismatic noble named Lord Varian, opposed the integration of dragon lore into the kingdom's culture. They feared the loss of traditional human values and the rise of a society they no longer recognized. This ideological divide threatened the unity and progress that had been achieved. Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen, upon their return, were met with this brewing conflict. Recognizing the need for dialogue and understanding, they sought to address the concerns of Lord Varian and his followers. Through town hall meetings, open forums, and private councils, they listened to the grievances and fears, addressing them with a blend of empathy and reason. During one such meeting, a breakthrough occurred. The Dragon Queen, in a rare display of her mystical abilities, shared a vision with the dissenters. They saw the world through her eyes, felt the deep connection she had with all living things, and understood her desire for a world where humans and dragons could coexist in peace. This empathic experience softened many hearts and opened minds to the possibilities of a shared future. Amidst these diplomatic and internal endeavors, a new external threat emerged from the northern territories. A warlord, known as the Iron Wolf, had begun amassing an army, intent on conquering lands under the banner of human supremacy. This looming threat posed a challenge not only to their kingdom but to the ideal of coexistence they had worked so hard to build. Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen, along with their allies, prepared to face this new adversary. They knew that the journey ahead would be perilous, but they also knew that the strength of their bond and the unity of their people would guide them through the storms to come. The looming threat of the Iron Wolf, a warlord driven by a vision of human dominion, cast a shadow over the land. His forces, clad in armor as dark as their intent, marched relentlessly towards the borders of the kingdom. Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen, aware of the impending conflict, rallied their forces, determined to defend the ideals of harmony and coexistence they had fostered. In preparation for battle, Sir Cedric summoned his most trusted knights and strategists. They gathered in the war room, a chamber lined with maps and banners, to plan their defense. The Dragon Queen, using her innate connection to the land, provided invaluable insight into the terrain and movements of the Iron Wolf's forces. Meanwhile, Lady Eleanor and Merlin continued their exploration of the lost archives of Dracoria. The ancient library was a treasure trove of knowledge, revealing long-forgotten dragon lore and magic. Among the scrolls, they discovered a series of texts detailing a powerful bond between dragons and the natural world, a connection that could be harnessed to protect the land. As the threat of the Iron Wolf grew closer, Sir Cedric organized patrols and defenses along the kingdom's borders. The Dragon Queen, soaring high above, kept vigilant watch over the advancing enemy. Her presence in the skies served as a beacon of hope for the defenders and a warning to the invaders. Lord Varian and his faction, witnessing the unity and determination of the kingdom's people, began to question their stance. The empathic vision shared by the Dragon Queen had sparked a change in many of their hearts. Slowly, they started to lend their support, realizing that the future they feared might actually be one of prosperity and peace. The day of the confrontation arrived, a dawn that broke with the clash of steel and the roar of battle cries. The Iron Wolf's army, a formidable force, met the defenders head-on. Sir Cedric, leading the charge, fought with the strength and courage of a lion. Beside him, knights and soldiers, inspired by his valor, stood their ground against the onslaught. In the midst of the battle, the Dragon Queen took to the skies, her wings casting great shadows over the battlefield. She unleashed her power, not in destructive flames, but in a display of awe-inspiring magic that intertwined with the forces of nature. The wind howled, the earth trembled, and the skies thundered, as if the very elements were joining the fight against the invaders. Merlin, utilizing the knowledge gleaned from the lost archives, channeled ancient spells that bolstered the defenders and hindered the enemy's advance. Lady Eleanor, commanding a battalion, demonstrated tactical brilliance, outmaneuvering the Iron Wolf's lieutenants at every turn. As the battle raged, a pivotal moment occurred. Sir Cedric, in a daring maneuver, confronted the Iron Wolf in single combat. Their duel was a spectacle of skill and strength, a clash of ideals as much as swords. In the end, it was Sir Cedric's unwavering conviction and the righteousness of his cause that triumphed. The Iron Wolf, defeated and humbled, realized the futility of his quest for dominion. He witnessed the unity of humans and dragons, a harmony he had deemed impossible. In his defeat, he found respect for the new world Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen were building. With the threat of the Iron Wolf quelled, the kingdom entered a period of rebuilding and reflection. The victory was not just a triumph of arms, but a triumph of ideals. It proved that a world where different beings coexist in mutual respect and understanding was not just a dream, but a viable reality. As peace returned to the land, Sir Cedric, the Dragon Queen, and their allies looked towards the future. They knew that their journey was far from over, that there would be more challenges and adventures ahead. But they also knew that together, they could face any storm, guided by the unbreakable bond they shared and the vision of a world united in harmony. In the aftermath of their hard-won victory against the Iron Wolf, the kingdom entered a time of healing and growth. The battle had left its scars, but it had also solidified the unity between humans and dragons, forging a stronger society. Sir Cedric, now hailed as a hero across the land, focused on the reconstruction efforts. He worked tirelessly, not just rebuilding structures, but also fortifying the bonds between the diverse communities within the kingdom. His leadership and compassion in these times of recovery endeared him even more to the people. The Dragon Queen, ever a symbol of the majestic and the mystical, played a crucial role in the healing process. Her presence alone was a comfort to many, and her empathic abilities helped soothe the lingering pain and fear. She often flew across the kingdom, her flight serving as a reminder of the enduring peace and the protection she offered. Lady Eleanor, utilizing her diplomatic skills, initiated talks with the former followers of the Iron Wolf. These negotiations were delicate, aiming to integrate them into the kingdom's society without resentment. Her efforts were instrumental in fostering a climate of forgiveness and understanding, crucial for lasting peace. Merlin, intrigued by the vast knowledge of the lost archives, continued his research into the ancient dragon lore. He discovered spells and enchantments that could benefit the kingdom, from enhancing crop growth to strengthening the fortifications. His mastery of these ancient arts proved invaluable in the kingdom's resurgence. Meanwhile, a new adventure beckoned when a mysterious artifact was unearthed in the Northern Territories, a region once under the control of the Iron Wolf. The artifact, a relic of dragon origin, was believed to hold the key to an ancient dragon sanctuary, a place of significant power and history. Sir Cedric, the Dragon Queen, Lady Eleanor, and Merlin set out to uncover the secrets of this sanctuary. Their journey took them through uncharted territories, each step revealing more about the interconnected history of humans and dragons. As they traveled, they encountered various challenges, from navigating treacherous landscapes to confronting remnants of the Iron Wolf's forces still lurking in the shadows. These encounters tested their resolve and the strength of their alliance, but also brought to light the resilience and resourcefulness of their combined forces. Upon reaching the location indicated by the artifact, they discovered the entrance to the dragon sanctuary. It was a breathtaking sight, a hidden valley surrounded by towering mountains, with a crystal-clear lake at its center. The sanctuary was untouched by time, a remnant of the age when dragons freely roamed the earth. Inside the sanctuary, they found ancient murals depicting the history of dragons and their interactions with humans. These murals told stories of cooperation, conflict, and the mutual respect that once existed. It was a poignant reminder of the cyclical nature of history and the importance of learning from the past. The discovery of the sanctuary was not just a historical triumph, it also brought practical benefits. Hidden within its depths were rare herbs, minerals, and texts that held the potential for medicinal and magical advancements. The kingdom's scholars and healers were eager to study these resources, foreseeing a future where such knowledge could lead to prosperity and well-being for all. As they returned from the sanctuary, Sir Cedric and his companions were filled with a sense of accomplishment and a deeper understanding of the bond between their two species. They had uncovered a part of history long forgotten, a testament to the enduring legacy of dragons in their world. The journey to the Dragon Sanctuary marked a new chapter in the kingdom's story, one that promised continued growth and discovery. The harmony between humans and dragons, once a dream, was now a living reality, a beacon of hope for a world brimming with possibilities. With the secrets of the Dragon Sanctuary now part of the kingdom's lore, the realm experienced a renaissance of knowledge and culture. The resources and texts unearthed from the sanctuary were shared among scholars, healers, and magicians, sparking innovations in various fields. Sir Cedric, ever the visionary leader, established a council of experts to oversee the integration of this new knowledge into everyday life. This council, comprising members from different disciplines, worked collaboratively to harness the potential of the sanctuary's discoveries for the benefit of all. The Dragon Queen, revered as a symbol of this new era of coexistence, became a central figure in the kingdom's cultural and spiritual life. Her presence at public events and ceremonies reinforced the bond between humans and dragons. She also played a crucial role in environmental stewardship, guiding efforts to preserve the natural beauty and resources of the land. Lady Eleanor, using her diplomatic acumen, spearheaded outreach to neighboring realms. These diplomatic missions aimed to share the lessons learned from their society's transformation and to build alliances based on mutual respect and cooperation. Her efforts were met with a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and in some cases, awe, as news of a kingdom thriving alongside a dragon was unprecedented. Merlin, meanwhile, dedicated himself to studying the texts from the dragon sanctuary. He believed that within these ancient writings lay deeper secrets about the connection between the earth and the magical creatures that once roamed it. His research led to breakthroughs in magical practices, enhancing the kingdom's defense and prosperity. As the kingdom flourished, a new challenge arose from the east, the kingdom of Merader. Merader, rich in resources but lacking in magical knowledge, viewed the advancements of Sir Cedric's kingdom with envy and suspicion. Rumors of a potential invasion began to stir, and the kingdom had to prepare for a different kind of confrontation, one that might require both diplomatic finesse and military might. In response to this looming threat, Sir Cedric convened his council to strategize a course of action. It was decided that a two-pronged approach was necessary, preparing for defense while seeking a diplomatic resolution. Sir Cedric and Lady Eleanor would lead a delegation to Merader, hoping to dispel fears and foster understanding. The journey to Merader was fraught with tension. The Meradorians, known for their skilled warriors and formidable fortresses, were initially cold and unwelcoming. However, the presence of the Dragon Queen, who accompanied the delegation, piqued the interest of the Meradorian king, a man known for his fascination with rare and powerful creatures. The negotiations were tense, but gradually, Sir Cedric and Lady Eleanor, through a combination of diplomatic skill and transparency about their society's transformation, began to break down the barriers of distrust. The Dragon Queen, in a display of gentle majesty, helped to soften the king's reservations, showing him the potential of a world where humans and dragons could coexist. Meanwhile, back in the kingdom, Merlin and the council kept vigilant watch over the land. They strengthened the magical wards and bolstered defenses, ensuring that the kingdom would stand strong against any possible aggression from Merader or other threats. As the talks with Merader progressed, an understanding began to form. The Meradorians, impressed by the advancements and harmony witnessed in Sir Cedric's kingdom, started to see the benefits of peace over war. A treaty was proposed, one that would ensure mutual respect and open the doors for trade and knowledge exchange. The successful diplomacy with Merader marked a significant milestone in the kingdom's history. It demonstrated that the power of dialogue, combined with the awe-inspiring presence of the Dragon Queen, could avert war and build bridges between once distant lands. With this new alliance, the kingdom looked towards a future of expanded horizons, ready to face any challenge with the strength of unity and the wisdom of ages past. The newfound alliance with Merader heralded a chapter of expansion and collaboration for the kingdom. Cultural exchanges began, with scholars, artisans, and traders crossing borders to share knowledge, crafts, and ideas. The presence of the Dragon Queen continued to inspire awe and curiosity, further cementing the kingdom's reputation as a land of wonder and harmony. Sir Cedric, recognizing the importance of these exchanges, established a series of cultural festivals. These events celebrated the diverse traditions and customs of both kingdoms, fostering a sense of shared community and appreciation. The festivals became a melting pot of ideas, where music, art, and gastronomy from different lands intertwined, creating a vibrant tapestry of culture. Meanwhile, Lady Eleanor played a crucial role in facilitating trade agreements with Merader. These agreements focused not only on the exchange of goods, but also on shared projects in agriculture, architecture, and environmental conservation. The collaboration led to innovative techniques in sustainable farming and building practices, benefiting both kingdoms. Merlin, intrigued by the magic of Merader, which differed from that of his own land, embarked on a journey of mutual learning with Maradorian mages. This exchange of arcane knowledge enriched both sides, leading to discoveries that enhanced magical understanding and applications. Merlin's research into the dragon sanctuary's texts continued to yield fascinating insights, particularly in the realm of elemental magic and its integration with the natural world. As the kingdom's influence grew, so did the complexity of its interactions with the wider geopolitical landscape. Neighboring realms, once wary of the kingdom's unique bond with the Dragon Queen, began to show interest in forming their own alliances. Sir Cedric and his council navigated these diplomatic waters with care, ensuring that their policies promoted peace and mutual benefit. However, with growth came new challenges. A mysterious group, known as the Order of the Shadowed Flame, emerged from the fringes of the kingdom. Cloaked in secrecy, this group opposed the integration of dragon lore into human society, fearing it would lead to the loss of human heritage and dominance. Their rhetoric found a foothold among certain factions, creating an undercurrent of dissent and unrest. To address this growing concern, Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen organized a series of dialogues across the kingdom. These dialogues provided a platform for open discussion and debate, allowing voices of dissent to be heard and addressed. The Dragon Queen, with her empathic abilities, played a crucial role in easing tensions, helping people see beyond fear and misconception. In a significant development, Merlin's studies led to the discovery of a hidden chamber within the dragon sanctuary. This chamber contained ancient artifacts and a portal to a realm long thought to be a myth, the elemental plane of dragons. This plane, a dimension where dragons once retreated during times of turmoil, held secrets that could further deepen the understanding between dragons and humans. As preparations were made to explore this elemental plane, the kingdom braced itself for the Order of the Shadowed Flame's growing influence. Sir Cedric and his allies knew that the path ahead would be fraught with trials, but they remained steadfast in their commitment to uphold the ideals of coexistence and understanding. The kingdom stood on the cusp of a new era, one filled with endless possibilities and challenges. The journey to the elemental plane of dragons promised not only discovery but also the potential to unite the kingdom against the shadows that threatened to divide it. The discovery of the elemental plane of dragons captivated the kingdom, offering a glimpse into a realm that was once the sanctuary of dragonkind. Sir Cedric, the Dragon Queen, Merlin, and a select group of explorers prepared to venture into this mystical plane, seeking knowledge and a deeper connection with the dragon heritage. As they stepped through the portal within the dragon sanctuary, they entered a world beyond imagination. The elemental plane of dragons was a realm of breathtaking landscapes, where mountains floated in the sky, rivers of liquid fire meandered through lush valleys, and the air thrummed with primal magic. Here, the essence of dragonkind was palpable, a testament to their ancient and powerful legacy. The explorers encountered dragons of various species, each embodying elements like fire, water, earth, and air. These dragons, though initially wary, recognized the Dragon Queen and welcomed the visitors into their domain. They shared ancient wisdom and tales of the times when dragons freely roamed the earth alongside humans. Meanwhile, in the kingdom, the Order of the Shadowed Flame began to assert their influence more boldly. They staged protests and rallies, disseminating propaganda that painted the Dragon-Human alliance as a threat to human sovereignty. Their message resonated with those who feared change, creating pockets of unrest and division. Sir Cedric, aware of the growing tension, instructed his council to maintain order and open dialogue with the dissenters. He believed that understanding and empathy, rather than force, were key to addressing the fears and misconceptions being spread. Back in the elemental plane, Merlin discovered an ancient archive, similar to the one in their world but filled with even older dragon lore. This archive contained knowledge about the origins of dragons, their connection to the elemental forces, and spells that could harness these elements for healing and growth. This knowledge had the potential to revolutionize magical practices in their kingdom. The Dragon Queen, through her interactions with the elemental dragons, gained insights into her own powers and identity. She learned to harness her abilities in ways that could benefit both her kind and humans, strengthening the bond between the two species. Upon their return, the explorers shared their findings with the kingdom. The tales of the elemental plane and its dragons inspired awe and wonder, reinforcing the importance of the bond between humans and dragons. Merlin, with the new knowledge from the archives, began to teach a new generation of mages, infusing their practices with the elemental magic of the dragons. The kingdom began to integrate these teachings, witnessing remarkable advancements in agriculture, medicine, and environmental stewardship. The benefits of this integration were tangible, slowly swaying public opinion in favor of the Dragon-Human alliance. However, the Order of the Shadowed Flame, feeling threatened by these developments, escalated their actions. They began to sabotage efforts to integrate the new knowledge, attempting to incite fear and chaos. Sir Cedric and his allies faced the delicate task of countering these actions while preserving the kingdom's unity and progress. As the kingdom navigated these internal struggles, its relations with neighboring realms continued to evolve. The stories of the elemental plane of dragons piqued the interest of other kingdoms, some seeking knowledge and others wary of the power it represented. Sir Cedric and his council worked diligently to manage these relationships, ensuring that their kingdom remained a beacon of peace and progress in an ever-changing world. The journey into the elemental plane of dragons had opened new horizons for the kingdom, but it also brought new challenges and responsibilities. The path ahead was uncertain, but with the unity of their people and the wisdom of the dragons, they were prepared to face whatever the future held. With the return from the elemental plane of dragons, the kingdom was abuzz with possibilities. The integration of elemental magic into society began under Merlin's guidance. He established a school where mages could learn to harness these new powers responsibly, focusing on applications that would benefit the kingdom and uphold the balance with nature. In agriculture, elemental magic led to bountiful harvests and the rejuvenation of once barren lands. In medicine, healers used these new techniques to create remedies that were more effective and less invasive. Architects and engineers utilized elemental magic in building, crafting structures that were both durable and in harmony with the environment. However, the advances brought about by elemental magic also intensified the activities of the Order of the Shadowed Flame. They viewed these changes as a threat to the traditional ways of life and the purity of human magic. Their propaganda increasingly painted the Dragon-Human alliance as a manipulation by dragons to dominate humans. Sir Cedric, striving to maintain peace, initiated a series of community outreach programs. These programs aimed to educate the public about the benefits of the dragon-human alliance and the safeguards in place to ensure that elemental magic was used ethically. He also opened channels of communication with the leaders of the order, hoping to find common ground. In one significant encounter, Sir Cedric and the Dragon Queen met with the head of the order. The meeting was tense, but the Dragon Queen's empathic abilities allowed her to share her intentions and feelings directly with the order's leader. This moment of shared understanding marked a turning point, as the leader began to see that the fears propagated by the order were unfounded. Meanwhile, the kingdom's influence continued to grow on the international stage. Other realms, intrigued by the tales of the elemental plane and the advancements in Sir Cedric's kingdom, sought alliances and knowledge exchanges. This global interest required careful diplomacy, as Sir Cedric and his council balanced the sharing of knowledge with the protection of their own interests. One such realm, the maritime nation of the Loria, proposed a joint venture to explore the uncharted waters using the combined knowledge of human and dragon magic. This partnership promised to open new trade routes and uncover mysteries of the deep sea, fostering a spirit of exploration and cooperation. However, this era of discovery and expansion was not without its challenges. Rumors began to circulate about a distant land where dragons were being hunted and exploited, a stark contrast to the harmony in Sir Cedric's kingdom. The Dragon Queen, deeply troubled by these reports, urged Sir Cedric to investigate and offer assistance. As preparations were made for a diplomatic and rescue mission to this distant land, the kingdom continued to thrive. The successful integration of elemental magic and the easing of tensions with the Order of the Shadowed Flame marked a new era of peace and prosperity. The journey to the distant land promised new challenges and adventures, but Sir Cedric, the Dragon Queen, and their allies were ready. They had faced adversity before and emerged stronger, guided by their ideals and the unbreakable bond they shared with each other and their people. The kingdom, once a place where dragons were thought to be myth, had become a beacon of hope and harmony, a testament to the power of understanding and unity in a world of diverse beings and beliefs. The joint venture with the Loria marked the beginning of an era of maritime exploration and discovery. Sir Cedric, along with a team of sailors, mages, and scholars, set sail on a fleet enhanced by elemental magic. The ships were designed to harness the wind and waves, making them faster and more resilient than any before. As they voyaged across uncharted waters, they encountered wonders and challenges alike. They discovered new islands with unique flora and fauna, traded with distant civilizations, and unearthed relics of ancient maritime cultures. These expeditions not only brought wealth and knowledge to the kingdom but also strengthened the bonds with the Loria, showcasing the potential of collaboration. Meanwhile, the situation in the distant land where dragons were endangered became a pressing concern. Reports of dragons being captured and exploited for their magical essence were deeply troubling to the Dragon Queen and the people of the kingdom. Sir Cedric, committed to the protection of dragonkind, organized a diplomatic and rescue mission. The mission to this distant land was fraught with uncertainty. The kingdom's envoys, led by Lady Eleanor, navigated complex political landscapes, encountering societies where dragons were feared and hunted. They engaged in delicate diplomacy, advocating for the protection and ethical treatment of dragons while offering support and knowledge to change prevailing attitudes. Back in the kingdom, Merlin continued to delve into the mysteries of the elemental plane of dragons. His research led to the development of new forms of magic that were more in tune with the natural world. These advancements had a profound impact on the kingdom, enhancing everything from healthcare to environmental conservation. The rescue efforts in the distant land were challenging but ultimately fruitful. Several captive dragons were liberated and given the choice to return to the elemental plane or stay in the kingdom. These rescue missions not only saved dragons, but also opened dialogues about coexistence and respect for all creatures, slowly changing perceptions in those lands. As the kingdom's influence grew, so did its responsibilities on the global stage. Sir Cedric's council found itself balancing the needs and ethics of their own realm with the complexities of international relations. They navigated these challenges with a focus on diplomacy, cultural exchange, and ethical leadership. The kingdom also became a hub for scholars, mages, and diplomats from around the world. The schools and academies established to study elemental magic and dragon lore attracted minds eager to learn and explore these new frontiers. The kingdom was not just a political power, it had become a center of learning and cultural exchange. However, with growth came new challenges. A rival kingdom, envious of Sir Cedric's prosperous land, began to stir unrest in border regions. This kingdom, known for its militaristic approach, posed a threat that required careful strategy and possibly a show of force. Sir Cedric, ever a proponent of peace, sought to address this new challenge with a combination of diplomacy and a display of the kingdom's strength. He knew that the balance between showing power and offering peace was delicate, but necessary to protect the kingdom and its ideals. As they prepared to face this new challenge, Sir Cedric and his allies remained guided by the principles that had brought them this far: unity, respect, and a commitment to a world where humans and dragons could live in harmony. The journey ahead was uncertain, but the kingdom stood ready, a testament to the enduring spirit of cooperation and the belief that a better world was possible through understanding and unity. As tensions with the rival kingdom escalated, Sir Cedric faced the delicate task of safeguarding his realm while upholding its principles of peace and harmony. The rival kingdom, known as Zoravia, had a long history of military prowess and expansionist ambitions. Its ruler, King Eldric, viewed the growing influence of Sir Cedric's kingdom as a threat to his own power. To counter this threat, Sir Cedric convened his council, formulating a strategy that balanced diplomatic outreach with a show of strength. He dispatched envoys to Zoravia, offering dialogue and mutual cooperation, while simultaneously bolstering the kingdom's defenses as a precaution. Merlin, utilizing his mastery of elemental magic, enhanced the kingdom's fortifications, creating barriers that were both powerful and in tune with the natural world. The Dragon Queen, understanding the gravity of the situation, patrolled the skies, her presence a reminder of the formidable alliance between humans and dragons. Meanwhile, the kingdom's role as a global influencer continued to grow. The academies and schools established to study elemental magic and dragon lore attracted not just scholars, but also emissaries from distant lands seeking knowledge and partnership. Sir Cedric's kingdom became a meeting ground for diverse cultures and ideologies, fostering an environment of learning and diplomacy. Within the kingdom, the integration of new knowledge and practices continued to evolve. Urban development progressed in harmony with nature, blending architectural innovation with environmental consciousness. The healthcare system, infused with advancements from elemental magic, became a model for other realms, offering effective and holistic treatments, The situation with Zoravia, however, remained a looming concern. King Aldrich, unconvinced by diplomatic overtures and wary of the kingdom's growing power, began to mobilize his forces along their shared border. This aggressive stance forced Sir Cedric to consider more direct measures to protect his people and maintain peace. A council of war was convened, bringing together the kingdom's finest military minds and strategists. Plans were drawn up for defensive maneuvers, and contingents of knights and mages were deployed to key locations. The Dragon Queen, along with other dragons who had chosen to ally with the kingdom, prepared for the possibility of aerial reconnaissance and, if necessary, combat. In a surprising turn of events, emissaries from other realms, including the Loria and the once distant land where dragons had been rescued, offered their support. They recognized the importance of Sir Cedric's kingdom as a beacon of peace and coexistence and did not wish to see it fall to a militaristic aggressor. As diplomatic efforts continued, Sir Cedric organized a grand summit, inviting leaders from across the known world, including King Aldrich of Zoravia. The summit, held in the kingdom's capital, was a display of unity and diversity, showcasing the cultural richness and advancements achieved through peace and cooperation. King Aldrich, attending the summit, was both impressed and unsettled by the display. The respect and admiration Sir Cedric commanded from other leaders, and the evident prosperity of his kingdom, made him reconsider his aggressive stance. He began to see the potential benefits of alliance over conflict. The summit concluded with a declaration of mutual respect and the establishment of trade and cultural exchange agreements. While tensions with Zoravia did not dissolve overnight, the groundwork for a more peaceful relationship was laid. The kingdom's ability to navigate this complex situation reaffirmed its role as a leader in a world where the balance of power was constantly shifting. Sir Cedric, supported by his allies and the wisdom of the Dragon Queen, had steered his realm through another challenge, reinforcing the ideals that had guided them from the beginning. In the wake of the summit, the relationship between Sir Cedric's kingdom and Zoravia began a slow but steady transformation. Recognizing the mutual benefits of peace, King Aldrich engaged in several joint ventures, particularly in trade and cultural exchange. These initiatives helped to soften the long-standing rivalry, paving the way for a more collaborative future. Back in the kingdom, the focus shifted towards harnessing the advancements in technology and magic for the betterment of society. The integration of elemental magic had revolutionized various sectors, from agriculture to architecture, leading to a sustainable and prosperous society. The kingdom became a model of environmental stewardship, balancing progress with respect for nature. One significant development was the establishment of the Grand Library of Elemental Knowledge. This library, founded by Merlin and other scholars, housed the vast knowledge gathered from the elemental plane of dragons, the lost archives of Dracoria, and other sources. It became a center of learning, attracting scholars and students from across the world. Internationally, Sir Cedric's kingdom faced new challenges as its influence grew. A coalition of realms, wary of the kingdom's power and its alliance with dragons, began to form. This coalition, driven by a mix of fear, envy, and misunderstanding, posed a diplomatic challenge that required careful navigation. Sir Cedric, ever the diplomat, extended an invitation to the leaders of these realms for a council of peace. The council aimed to address concerns, dispel myths about dragons, and highlight the benefits of cooperation and shared knowledge. the Dragon Queen, with her majestic presence and empathic abilities, played a crucial role in breaking down barriers during these discussions. Within the kingdom, the population continued to grow, enriched by the influx of people from various cultures and backgrounds. This diversity brought vibrancy, but also challenges in maintaining social harmony. Efforts were made to ensure that all citizens, regardless of their origin, felt valued and included in the kingdom's fabric. As the kingdom navigated these internal and external dynamics, a new adventure emerged from the unexplored depths of the elemental plane of dragons. A discovery was made of an ancient dragon artifact, believed to hold the power to connect different planes of existence. This artifact, known as the Celestial Prism, was sought by many for its potential power. Sir Cedric and his allies embarked on a quest to retrieve the Celestial Prism before it fell into the wrong hands. The quest took them through treacherous landscapes in the elemental plane, facing challenges that tested their courage, wisdom, and the strength of their bond. Meanwhile, the coalition of wary realms watched closely, seeing the quest for the Celestial Prism as a test of the kingdom's intentions. The outcome of this quest had the potential to either alleviate their fears or confirm their suspicions, impacting the kingdom's diplomatic relations significantly. The quest led Sir Cedric and his companions to an ancient temple, guarded by elemental dragons and riddled with arcane puzzles. As they navigated these challenges, they discovered that the true power of the Celestial Prism was not in dominating other realms, but in fostering deeper understanding and connection among them. With the Celestial Prism secured, Sir Cedric returned to his kingdom, aware that its power must be guarded and used wisely. The successful quest not only brought acclaim to the kingdom, but also offered an opportunity to demonstrate its commitment to using such power for the greater good. As the kingdom prepared to enter a new phase of its journey, Sir Cedric and his council faced the task of managing the Celestial Prism's potential while continuing to foster a society built on unity, respect, and the harmonious coexistence of all beings. With the Celestial Prism in their possession, Sir Cedric and his council faced the monumental task of harnessing its potential responsibly. They established a guarded sanctuary where the prism was kept, allowing only the most trusted scholars and mages to study its properties under strict supervision. The prism's ability to connect different planes of existence opened new avenues for exploration and understanding, but also required careful management to prevent misuse. In the realm of diplomacy, the coalition of wary realms observed the kingdom's handling of the Celestial Prism closely. Sir Cedric, understanding the importance of transparency, invited representatives from these realms to observe the prism's research and its applications. This gesture of openness helped to alleviate some of the concerns and mistrust harbored by the coalition. Internally, the kingdom continued to flourish with its growing population and cultural diversity. Sir Cedric implemented policies that promoted inclusivity and cultural exchange, fostering a society where different traditions and viewpoints were respected and celebrated. Festivals, fairs, and cultural forums became regular events, where citizens from various backgrounds shared their heritage and learned from one another. However, managing this diverse society was not without its challenges. Differences in customs and beliefs sometimes led to misunderstandings and tensions. Sir Cedric and his council worked tirelessly to mediate these situations, promoting dialogue and mutual respect as the keys to maintaining social harmony. Merlin, along with other mages, delved deeper into the mysteries of the Celestial Prism. they discovered that the prism could be used to enhance communication and understanding between different species and realms. This breakthrough had the potential to transform diplomatic and cultural exchanges, making them more profound and effective. Meanwhile, on the global stage, the kingdom's commitment to peace and collaboration was tested when a conflict erupted between two neighboring realms. Sir Cedric, leveraging his influence and the kingdom's reputation, offered to mediate the dispute. The Dragon Queen, with her majestic presence, accompanied the diplomatic mission, symbolizing the kingdom's ethos of harmony and unity. The mediation was a complex process, involving tense negotiations and delicate balancing of interests. However, Sir Cedric's fairness and the Dragon Queen's empathic abilities eventually led to a peaceful resolution. This success further solidified the kingdom's role as a mediator and peacemaker in international affairs. As the kingdom navigated these various challenges, the bond between humans and dragons within its borders continued to strengthen. The dragons, once feared and misunderstood, were now seen as integral members of society, contributing to its protection, knowledge, and cultural richness. The journey to retrieve the celestial prism, coupled with the kingdom's ongoing efforts in diplomacy, cultural integration, and technological advancements, marked a new era of prosperity and understanding. Sir Cedric's realm stood as a testament to what could be achieved when different beings worked together in harmony and respect. As they looked towards the future, Sir Cedric, the Dragon Queen, and their allies knew that their journey was far from over. They faced the challenges ahead with a sense of optimism and unity, driven by the belief that their kingdom could be a beacon of hope and a model for a world where diversity and cooperation were not just possible, but celebrated. As the kingdom embraced the new opportunities presented by the celestial prism, its influence and responsibilities on the global stage continued to expand. The prism's ability to enhance communication across realms led to groundbreaking diplomatic initiatives, creating a network of alliances and partnerships that transcended borders. Merlin and his team of mages, through careful study of the prism, developed a series of communication portals. These portals allowed envoys and leaders from different realms to converse and negotiate in real time, despite being continents apart. This innovation revolutionized international diplomacy and became a cornerstone of the kingdom's foreign policy. However, the increased reliance on the prism also attracted the attention of less benevolent forces. A secretive cabal, known as the Eclipse Consortium, sought to obtain the prism for their own ends. This group believed that controlling the prism would give them the power to dominate not just their own realm, but others as well. Sir Cedric and his council were vigilant, implementing measures to safeguard the prism and the kingdom. Internally, the kingdom's diverse population continued to grow, bringing new challenges and enriching the society's cultural tapestry. Sir Cedric established a Ministry of Cultural Affairs, dedicated to promoting understanding and integration among the kingdom's various communities. The ministry organized cultural events, educational programs, and community dialogues, fostering a sense of shared identity and belonging. In a significant development, a conflict arose between two powerful realms in the eastern lands, threatening to destabilize the region. Sir Cedric, committed to maintaining global peace, offered to mediate the conflict, using the kingdom's diplomatic channels and the communication portals to facilitate discussions. The mediation process was arduous, with deep-seated grievances and strategic interests at play. However, the kingdom's reputation as a fair and neutral mediator, coupled with the empathic abilities of the Dragon Queen and the technological advantage of the communication portals, gradually brought the parties to an agreement. This successful mediation enhanced the kingdom's status as a peacemaker and a leader in international diplomacy. Back home, the kingdom continued to thrive in harmony with its dragon allies. The dragons, once feared, were now seen as guardians and symbols of the kingdom's strength and unity. They participated in public events, assisted in environmental conservation efforts, and became subjects of artistic and literary works, reflecting the deep bond between humans and dragons. As the kingdom looked to the future, Sir Cedric and his council faced the ongoing challenge of balancing their domestic responsibilities with their growing role on the international stage. They continued to navigate these challenges with a commitment to their core values of peace, unity, and respect for all beings. The journey of the kingdom, from a land where dragons were myths to a beacon of harmony and innovation, was a testament to the power of vision, courage, and cooperation. It stood as a shining example of what could be achieved when diverse cultures and species worked together towards a common goal. Sir Cedric, the Dragon Queen, and their allies looked forward with optimism, ready to face new adventures and challenges, knowing that their united strength and shared ideals would guide them through whatever the future held.